Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball, game7baseball.com. Make sure you get your team registered, get in some tournaments. We're going to have a lot of fun this summer out with Game 7 Baseball. Today, though, on the show, we have a special guest, Coach's Preview from Seckman High School head coach Brad Hagedorn. I said that correct.
You did say it correct.
Beauty.
One for one.
I hate messing people's names up, but I've butchered a few names in the past. So
mine's been butchered several over many a loudspeaker. So
I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
But Coach, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. I've watched your teams play over the last couple of years, but first time I think we've met actually face to face.
Yeah.
Right.
So I say see you around and watch see a lot of Twitter feeds and that kind of stuff. But yeah, first time meeting and doing this, so it's great to be here.
Well, and two, just a shameless plug here. We will be down for a St. Louis Suburban Conference game. You guys on a Thursday, I believe I'm trying to remember date. It was April something. Parkway South's coming to your house.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that game. Matt Brown's done a pretty good job over there with
great job. And
Parkway
they got a
South.
couple horses coming back. They're going to be a tough one again. Great
Yeah.
conference. It's all going to be tough. But yeah, any conference game that we were in, you're going to see a good arm, and it's going to be a good battle. So.
Absolutely. So we're looking forward to it. Coming down to your play. I'll be honest, I don't even know where the high school's at.
Well,
May 1st. There it is. May 1st.
Yeah.
Where is the high school?
It's down in Imperial. So take 55 south, like you're going to Festus. You get off Imperial, Macedon State Park, right around there.
Yeah.
Ideally, we'd have had our renovations done. They were supposed to be done before the season, but weather, you know how things work, so they got pushed off to the end. But maybe next year you can come back down and see a little updated version of Seckman Valley. But it's a good atmosphere down there. So
You getting turf?
we have turf.
You have
turf
turf.
infield,
Okay.
grass outfield. But yeah, we're redoing the infield, getting new turf, new dugouts, new backstop, the netting system. So it's going to be nice. So
Yeah. Heck yeah.
looking forward to it.
I love to see it when the schools are starting to put money into the baseball programs because it doesn't happen a lot. Football is usually king, of course, and, basketball, and then kind of baseball kind of gets whatever's left over.
Yeah, and that's been a big improvement is, a lot of the turf companies for the football, they're like, hey, we can also do your baseball field since we're here, the equipment's here, and you get a little bit, it's a little bit cheaper. So that's helped a little bit. But, there's so many turf and beautiful turf facilities around the area right now that are just so nice to go to, and it makes it so much easier in the springtime with the weather and the rain and different stuff to just say, I can get out there on the field. I don't have to worry about letting it dry for a couple of days. I don't have to worry about a tarp, all that stuff. It's difficult to schedule with the high school. Kids going to, it's hard to pull them out of that kind of stuff. So having the turf is nice. And like I said, hoping, ours is ready to go next year.
Coach, talk to us a little bit about your program. I'm getting to know it a little bit. How long have you been there?
This is year 15 for me as head coach.
As head coach, talk to us about the culture. I've seen from afar. I've watched you guys have been up in the Troy and the Midwest Classic last couple of years, and I've seen you guys play. You swing the bat a ton. Offensively, you guys, from what I've seen over the last few years, you've had just you score runs. What is it culturally, and what do you do with your program? How is from that freshman class moving up? What's the culture like at your school?
Well, first of all, we've been very fortunate. We get a lot of kids to choose from. A lot of kids are still wanting to play in our area, which is a huge benefit because a lot of places are losing that.
Yeah.
But we just try to create an environment where the kids want to be there. They're coming out. They know we're going to go to work, but they know we're going to enjoy it. We're going to have a lot of competitions. We work a lot on the mental game, the approach. We try to take, our coaching staff, the college experiences that we had, all the stuff that we wish we'd have known back then, and give it to them now, because we've really started to push in what's that next level, because we've been there. We've gotten a bunch of district championships. We've won conferences. but we haven't been able to win that conference championship as consistent as we would like to. So we really started focusing on that mental part of it. How do we handle it? What are, just philosophy at the plate. Okay, I'm a great hitter, but why am I a great hitter? What pitch am I looking for? And that really has helped us the last couple of years against some of the better, because the staff, the people we face in the Troy tournament, the Howells and the CBCs, and then our conference, and we're seeing a bunch of dudes. It's tough, but you got to know, okay, what's my strength? And our kids have really bought into that. Hey, I'm going to go with my strength. I know I can lay off that borderline pitch that a pitcher's going to try to make to get me out. And the days that we do that, we can score a lot of runs, and make pitchers, really kind of question, hey, why aren't they swinging at that pitch? They're supposed to swing at that pitch, but we let it go, and then they have to come back to the one that we want, and it allows them to be successmal.
You guys are in the, I'm pulling this up because I know you're in the St. Louis Suburban Red. Correct?
Yes.
And you're talking Hazelwood, Ladue. I think they went back down.
They just dropped down.
They just dropped down.
Kirkwood replaced them this year.
Is Kirkwood coming down?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, because who went up? Was there somebody that went up into the yellow from your guys' this year?
I don't think anybody went up this year.
Okay. So, but Hazelwood, Ladue, Northwest High School is always tough.
Yep.
Oakville, I don't care what day of the week, you're going to see an arm that just is D1
Absolutely.
quality.
They're absolutely loaded. Hopefully they're all healthy this year. I know they've had that in the past a little bit. But yeah, we saw all three of them last year at different times.
Yeah.
Now they're a year older.
Yeah, good luck.
So yeah, we're really going to have to work on our approach seeing those guys, because they are a very talented group and very well coached. So they're going to be ready to go.
Parkway Central's always tough.
Always.
They work hard. You got, again, the game against Parkway South will be there. And then Webster Groves, who is a class 5 school, but Coach Wiggins has those guys playing pretty well.
Always. Again, they're a very well coached team. Last year, they made the run, they went to it, and exciting to see. Anytime you see any guy our conference go and have success like that, at our off conference meeting, we're all enjoying everybody and congratulating. It's always a fun time. Hey, you're going to see this, you're going to see this, moving on. But yeah, they do a great job there at Webster, and so. Again, there's not an easy night in the conference lineup. So
no, looking at that. So let's talk about Seckman High School baseball. I always like to start with the mound, but I'm going to give a little juice here. Start with, you guys were 4-3 in conference last year, 20-12-1 overall. You were District 1 champs, which is no small feat. I think you guys beat Fox. Because Fox
in the championship, they upset Jackson
in
the semifinals. Yep.
And it was all close games. I mean, just Fox is pretty good this year. So not only that, you're playing your conference, but your district is brutal.
Yeah, with Jackson, Lindbergh, Oakville. We beat Oakville last year in the semis. Who again, it was one of those that we got hot at the right time in the districts. I mean, we scored, average 13 runs in those 3 games. It was just the right timing for us, and that whole, again, Northwest Fox, it's just a tough district. Fox, like you said, they're going to have all their arms back this year, going to be a very tough team. So yeah, and that's the thing, you're playing all those non-conference, a lot of them, to get your district matchup for seeding. So then again, just adds to the schedule, and that's what we love. We like a tough schedule. We've added, as many tough games as we can. So those district championships, the quarterfinal game last year, it's not the first time we've seen a guy throwing, 90, or we've seen a team that runs, or we've seen a little bit of everything going into it. That's why we try to prepare and, create a pretty tough schedule going in. So we're ready to go.
I always think that's funny because people look at that, and that's why, 20 wins. You get a 21 season with a schedule like what you guys put out. That's a good season.
It's tough. And that's because, a lot of those games you're playing, 2 conference games a week in our conference. Mm-hmm. Well, our non-conference, so we're throwing, our numbers 3 and 4 against CBC, Francis Howell, Jackson, that kind of stuff, Lindbergh. And, it just makes it's one of those, it allows those kids to get great opportunity, great experience. We throw, okay, what do you got? What are you going to have for next year? When you're that conference guy, or, to step up. So that's a great opportunity for them. But it just challenges the team. Okay, rally around everybody. It's not, okay, we have our guy on the mound. No, hey, it doesn't matter who we got on the mound today. We're going to have a chance. And that's what our team, a lot of confidence in each other. And that's what I love being around them.
There you go. You guys, you've won 2 district titles since 2010. I think the last one was 2013.
2013.
Yeah. Pitchers. I always start on the mound. That's where it begins. You know, you got to throw the strikes. You got to get the 3 outs. You don't get to hit if you don't get outs,
Absolutely.
right? You don't want to give away outs. The name that jumps off, I think I told you before we started here, I saw Max Jones over at the PBR event, the showcase this past weekend. Looked really good. This young man, he was 5-2, a 1.98 ERA as a sophomore.
As a freshman. He is a sophomore this year.
He's a sophomore this year.
He was a freshman
that's
last
right.
year.
Yes, he's a freshman last year. That's correct. 2027.
Yep.
He threw 28 innings for you as a freshman. That's impressive, Coach.
Very impressive. You know, he's one of those guys, you know, came in, it's like, hey, see him in your workouts and everything else, you know, see the live arm, see the movement, that kind of stuff. You know, you see him in tryouts and it's like, okay. And then you ask yourself, does he have what it takes, you know, mentally? Can he handle the lineups he's going to see? Can he handle, you know, having a little bit of failure? But, man, we threw him in the fire down in Arkansas, put him in a really close game. He got out of it. He got his first win in his first outing in relief.
Wow.
It just, you know, fantastic. So then, you know, reward, hey, you're going to start against Parkway West. You know, good luck. Gets a win. Start against Festus, another smaller school, but a state champion. They're
Festus is tough.
Very dominant.
Yeah.
We always have good matchups with them. So, yeah, he started against some big times, threw in our district championship game against Fox. So we didn't hold him back. I mean, he's a good kid, great arm. But he showed that he did have mentally, you know, I can handle it. I can have my B stuff and still figure it out, lean on my offense a little bit more today. So as a freshman, you never know. But, yeah, he passed every test we gave him last year, and he did it. Had a great time. Kids really took to him and knew we were going to have a great chance to win every time he was on the mound.
I always find it fascinating when you have a freshman come into this type of situation. It just doesn't happen that often.
No.
It just really doesn't.
It doesn't.
And one of the things I always look at is opponent batting average. I mean, it was a 216. When you can, that's impressive. I mean, you know, the ERA, you know, everybody looks at the big numbers, strikeouts and things like that. But I always look at an opponent batting average. When you're keeping guys off base and you're producing that, it makes it easier. That means you know how to get guys out.
Exactly. And he does. He's got 3 pitches, a lot of movement on his fastball. He can throw, you know, the 4-seamer, but the 2-seamer, man, that's a pitch that we even worked with him last year, trying to just improve that a little bit more, you know, both sides of the plate, little Greg Maddox style, get that movement. Because, man, those right-handers, they think it's right there, and then, bam, it's on their hands, and they're not liking it. We had a great defense behind him last year that, you know, any ball in play, we were probably going to get the out.
Yeah.
So he fed on that. He knew he didn't have to get the strikeout, but one of the better curveballs in the area. Like I said, just a very good arsenal for a young kid.
Yeah. You're going to have to rely on some kids that didn't have a lot of innings for you last year.
Absolutely.
A couple of them that stand out is a senior, and I don't know, is it Schlecht? Schlechty.
Yep.
And then the junior Cooper Hogue.
Hogue. Yep, Cooper Hogue.
There you go. See, I'm butchering names
That's good.
already.
Yeah, all right. Well, we got a few on there that's going to be tough to get first time.
So these are a couple kids. They did get some innings. Looks like it was a lot of relief and things like that. What are you expecting out of those guys?
A lot. I mean, they're guys, you know, Schlechty was a guy last year, a lot of relief. But again, against Howell Central, Parkway South, you know, he saw some players, he saw some hitters. Not a big velo guy. He's a mix and match, pitch backwards type of guy.
Sure.
That's a kind of guy we've kind of gone with in the past as a closer, a little bit different, you know, not a big velocity guy. Usually our big velocity guys are up, and then, hey, we're going to send you that curveball guy. Good luck making an adjustment, you know, that last
swinging out of your shoes.
Yeah, and all, you know, we get 3 pop-ups and we're out of the inning. But again, he came in last year. We had an injury. He came in, I think it was bases loaded, facing Kellerbrink first at bat against Parkway South, and he got a fly out. You know, he was like, of course, our dugout goes wild. So Parkway South's like, who's this kid? Because, he's down in the bullpen warming up. He's been there for 2 pitches, and then we have an injury, and he's like, oh, I'm in now. And so, but just he flipped the switch. He got us out of the inning, did a great job. But, yeah, he's been tested. Great kid again. He's one of those. He's going to get on the mound. He's all business. And then Cooper Hogue, he was another as a sophomore last year. He just pitched with us. He played, mostly JV other than that, but he pitched, against Summit, St. Dominic, his 2 starts. Again, 2 good organizations, and did really well. Again,
he was 2-0.
Yeah, he's a lefty. Again, good movement. He's got a great move to first base. Does a great job. Again, got to face Oakville in the district semi. So again, got that experience last year that, hey, it's not going to be my first time this year if we get that opportunity again. But yeah, just great mentality out of both those guys. It's one of those, they don't, they're just going to go out and do what they do.
OBA, opponent batting average, folks, .174. If that means, again, that one always stands out to me. If you're especially under 200, you're getting guys out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nobody on. It's hard to score when you don't have anybody on base.
Exactly, and that's again, those guys again. When you got good defense behind you,
right?
Things happen. You don't have to go for the strikeout. You can make your pitch. You don't have to, nibble at the corners. You can go after guys and trust that defense is going to take care of you. But he got plenty of strikeouts to go along with it. He's, like I said, he's got some good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Talk to us about who else we may not know about here, Coach.
Another senior, Alex Fiesler, another guy, got some opportunities last year. Another guy similar to Schlechte. He's not a big velo guy. Mm-hmm. Very good curveball, throws it for strikes, can locate the fastball. He's going to be another one of those guys, kind of in between. Is he going to be a starter? Is he going to be a reliever? Not really sure right now, but he's a guy that got some good experience last year that I think he'll really step into. Connor Day, a senior this year, he was, one of our guys we had hoped would be really good for us last year. Didn't really, pan out as well on the mound, but he was phenomenal at third base. It's hard to take him off there. Great, one of our top 3 hitters in the lineup a lot of the time. So we just kind of let him, roll with that because we had other guys, stepping up on the mound. But really would like to get something out of him on the mound this year. He's got a great arm, great athlete, and I think hopefully he's wanting a little bit more on the mound than what he got last year as well, more opportunity-wise, because, again, just he's got some pretty electric stuff when he's on. And then another one, Carter Bingle, another junior, pitched for us last year as a sophomore, had some injury issues, so really didn't get to see as much of him last year as we'd like to, but he's got the arsenal that he needs to perform at this level. So hopefully this year we can keep him healthy and keep him on the mound, and the consistency will help him, go forward. So those are our main returners. Alex, or who am I forgetting? Jake Dean, another senior coming back. Good stuff, good movement. Another guy that threw in relief last year for us, had 1 start against CBC. But again, threw against Hal, threw against CBC, threw against some tough competition. So again, knows what it takes. Good summer stuff. So those the older guys coming back, and then hopefully some of our younger, sophomore, freshmen can step in there, because we got some pretty talented ones that can hopefully step in and fill some of those gaps for us.
So you've got some good depth, and I think the other thing with the pitching too, in my estimation, if you do win district again, you're going into that best 2 out of 3.
Right.
You're going to have those guys that, there's going to be a lot of high leverage situations in a best 2 out of 3.
Yeah. And in the past, we've been very fortunate. We've had those, pretty big arms, the top 2. This year, our velocity is going to be down a little bit, but we got a lot of guys that know how to pitch and know how to get outs. You saw there, those, batting averages against, or, good numbers that we're looking at. So we're hoping to keep that up. But yeah, those, all of a sudden you move on, you go through a 3-game stretch in districts, and all of a sudden now you got to win 2 out of 3 against a very quality opponent. It's going to be a challenge, but yeah, the more we can go to these guys early and get the experience, and so they know what they're going into next year, will be phenomenal. So
you're going to be relying on that defense. the next thing, once you got those guys, if they're throwing a lot of ground balls, it looks like you got a kid coming back behind the plate that,
Yes.
Is there, knows how to do that. That is always a huge, huge deal when you got that kid coming back, don't you?
Huge. Yeah. So he came up 2 years ago as a sophomore and caught a lot for us, kind of took over that position, did a great job last year, settled into it.
I'm not going to try and pronounce this one. Is it Vessels?
Yeah. Brady
Okay.
Vessels. Yeah. Phenomenal kid. Again, good arm, receives well, does a great job behind the plate, phenomenal hitter. But to have him behind the plate for his third year, and man, that communication system now, that one way, the earpiece and talking to him back and forth, just helps so much. It's just such a cool piece to have now. Hey, we're going here. A lot of them, we'll do a lot of talk pregame, kind of let them handle the pitching staff. Okay, you guys are going to call it. You guys, the feel. You guys know what the pitcher wants, and then we'll throw in our little, hints here and there. Hey, we want to go here with this guy. Hey, what about this? What about this? And little head nods and that kind of stuff. It's just a great tool to have. I think he really enjoyed that last year, having that. Just one of those, maybe he was stuck and give me a little signal and, hey, let's go with this. But man, he handles the staff well. He calls a great game. I know he's going to do, not only behind this year, but as college next level, he's going to be a very good catcher.
Love to see veteran catchers, especially with it's not necessarily a young staff,
Younger, yeah,
but
definitely.
it is younger.
Yeah.
And you have some kids, some seniors that just maybe not have the experience.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
They have some.
They've pitched, but they haven't, their innings level is going to jump quite a bit this year. But yeah, to have somebody back there behind the plate that's been there now his third year going in and say, hey, this is what's working. Hey, this is what our umpire's giving us today. We got to take advantage of this and just really, go to their, their strengths and make them realize, this is what we need to do.
Not to mention, folks, this is just like video game numbers. 412, 500, and a 742 slugging. Goodness mercy. 11 runs scored, 13 doubles, 2 triples, 5 home runs, 28 ribbies, and he only struck out 17 times.
Right. Yeah. Quality hitter. He's a very good hitter.
Oh my gosh.
He hit in the middle of the order a lot of our time last year, but then towards the end of the season, we made a change. Team started throwing around Bradford a little bit. So we said, hey, we're going to put Vessels right behind him.
I would too.
Yeah, exactly. So we put Vessels behind him and say, okay, go ahead. And then we had, right behind him, you don't want to pitch to Vessels. Okay, here's Nate Higgins in our 3 spot. And so we just tried to, balance our order like that. We tried to lengthen it a little bit early in the season. We said, hey, probably better for us to just go get them, let them knock it in a little bit there early and make pitchers think, do I want a runner on base? Probably on second with Bradford or maybe even third. If you get him on, do I want to pitch with a guy on, or do I want to take my chances with him and leave Vessels there behind? So yeah, phenomenal. And he handled it really well, moving up, just kind of exploded. And so yeah, definitely a good guy to have back in your lineup this year.
And so, you mentioned Ryan Bradford, and I wasn't aware of this so much, but we talk video game numbers. I haven't seen numbers like this in a couple years. The only other ones I've seen like this was, personally, it was McCutcheon and oh gosh, man, I tell you, it's killing me. He's gonna hurt my feelings.
He's gonna hurt you now.
Well, yeah. Well, probably not. He's too nice a kid.
Yeah.
But he's at Mizzou playing football now.
From Hal. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm going to forget his name too.
Oh my gosh.
I can think of every other Hal player.
I'll get it back.
Yeah, I know who you got. Yeah, he.
Oh my gosh. They put up some video, but this is, and Bradford will be back in center field for you guys, right?
Either center field or maybe, middle infield. He can do both equally as well, but yeah.
So it's
wherever the other need, which one we need more.
Right.
So wherever the other depth comes from, he'll play the other. But yeah, slotted in somewhere up the middle.
489, 603, 900. If you're your OPS is 1403. 38 runs scored, 7 doubles, 3 triples, 8 home runs, 24 ribbies, 24 base on balls. He only struck out 7 times. That is impressive. And 19 stolen bases.
Yeah, and that's probably down because of, how many home runs, doubles, triples.
My
And
goodness.
he is a ball player, phenomenal athlete, lives at the facility, always working on his game. But some of the best hands that you'll see as a hitter, can get to any pitch. And, last year he's our leadoff guy. Great speed, obviously, with those type of numbers. He can hit anywhere in the order, but all of a sudden you put that kind of potential, you lead off double, you lead off triple, lead off homer, whatever the case may be. That's just a huge boost for the team and everything to go. And a really probably the sole reason we went on that run in districts last year. He had separated his shoulder. Didn't know if we were even going to have him in districts. Didn't play the field at all with us because, he was having an issue. But he'd say, okay, yeah, I'm going to play. I want to play. I said, if everybody says you're fine to play, we're going to play you. Well, he led off the first game against Bluff with a home run. The most emotion you'll see out of him. And the dugout was like, oh, we got Bradford. And then it was like everybody just let go, and it just, the bats just heated up, and saw that the emotion that he showed after that home run was
It was a big sigh from the rest of the team.
I think it was part of him, coaching staff, huge part,
Right.
But then the team to say, well, he hadn't really been practicing. He hadn't been doing much. He's been swinging a little bit in the cage, but, to see, okay, we got our guy. And then they were able to, so I don't have to do anything else but other than what I usually do. I don't have to try to carry. I got my normal guy there. But yeah, just a great ball player. And man, just the quickness of the hands and the power that he shows, and just thinks the game, knows what pitchers are trying to do to him. And they've been, okay, they're going to come with a curveball here. And they're probably going to hammer it too. So he's just a great ball player. And again, like I said, when you got guys like that in the program, you want to keep them around as long as possible.
So who else is vying for those spots up the middle there for you, Coach?
Connor Day. I said we mentioned him earlier. He's that third guy back. He played mostly third base for us last year, but he could swing over to second base. Again, we got so many kind of new positions to fill this year. It just kind of depends on who shows up in some of those other spots and wins those. Do we need more of a second baseman, or do we need a third baseman? And we've got multiple guys in those spots, but, Connor Day up the middle, couple juniors, Gavin English, great JV player for us last year. Will Wooker, great JV for us last year. Junior Cam Benson, who last year was our courtesy runner and all the big stuff, can absolutely fly. Unbelievable athlete. Plays a great shortstop. So he could be our starting shortstop this year, maybe second base. See how it goes, but we'd like to get him in the lineup somewhere. And then we have a couple sophomores in there that are going to probably, make their mark somewhere. Brody Kuby was our, one of our quarterbacks for the football team this year. Playing
He
some
showed
varsity
pretty
basketball.
well this past weekend. Saw him.
He does. And another one, we brought him up in districts last year. It's just one of those guys, hey, we might need another arm. You never know. In those games, we might need another arm. So his first varsity inning was in district semifinal game against Oakville. We threw him in the 7th just in case we needed him, for an inning that next day. Hey, you got your first time out of the way. Came in, did great, but so he's going to be on the mound and then up the middle, just a very good ball player. So we're hoping to see there. And we got a guy, Will Burhorst, that could play in the middle. He could possibly catch as a sophomore. Boyer Hart, another sophomore that could play in the middle of the infield or in the outfield. So we have a chance to get very young. If some of our older kids don't, take those jobs and run, we're hoping they do. I think they will.
Sure.
But they're going to be pushed because we got a great younger group of kids coming up.
That's always nice, right? You
As a head coach,
you love the competition.
You
right?
got to have people pushing. You don't want to keep people getting complacent, getting comfortable. I'm going to be in there no matter what. You want them to earn it every day.
When we see this, and we're seeing this a lot more, and I think it's because of some of these kids coming up, the training and the progress some of these kids are making. And man, oh my gosh, over this past weekend, I saw so many. I'm standing there talking to a kid from Lindbergh, Calcaterra, and Mollering. I forget where he goes to school, but these are freshmen, and both of them are 6'2".
Yeah.
I'm looking up at these kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I'm looking around at this crowd of kids out at this showcase, and it's all these kids are. It's amazing the size of the kids that we have playing baseball today.
It is,
and and I think, you're seeing it a lot more. You're seeing a lot as you did last year. You had younger kids coming in, stepping into roles, Max Jones and things like that. Do you, as a program, we're going to play senior, freshman? No, evidently not. Is it a cultural thing to say, hey, look, this kid here, if he can play, he's going to play?
It is. I mean, we're trying to win baseball games. You don't want to waste a kid. You don't want to bring him up if he's only going to play. Always want to play every other day or that kind of stuff. But if he's good enough to win a spot, he's good enough to win a spot. And it's one of those things, young, old, and like you said, the weightlifting, the bodies. We've got a handful of freshmen that we'll probably get here in a little bit. But man, their bodies is like, it looks like they're juniors walking through the halls, and they're freshmen. They're coming out for the first time this year, and it's a great problem to have. But yeah, if they know we're gonna bring them up, look at them, take a look. If it works out great, you'll stick. Maybe you'll be a swing guy, like last year Max, good enough to pitch for us, wasn't quite ready, on the field. We didn't think, so we sent him down. He'd play third base for the JV, got to hit every day for the JV, and we needed him to start. He would come up and start for us, just so we didn't sit him on the bench for a year and all of a sudden he wasted, a season's worth of at bats. So you got to be flexible, and you got to be able to have a good JV staff to, hey, I'm going to lose my best pitcher. I know he's not going to touch, I'm not going to have him in the lineup today. He's going to be up with you. Our coaches do a great job with that and realize, hey, we know what we're building for. So yeah, I think they come in knowing we're going to put you where we think you're going to be successful. We don't want them to take a step back. We want to be successful and have that. So yeah, age right now doesn't matter. Hopefully, as you're building, you're not going to need a whole lot of those guys to come up because they've been building for 4 years, and all of a sudden those seniors have been playing for 2 years. They've had those opportunities, but there's always holes, there's always injuries, there's always things that happen that you go find that next best guy.
Offensively, the two juggernauts there, who are the guys, where are you filling in around them? Who are some of the other sticks that you're looking at here? Is there going to be maybe a couple of these freshmen that you're thinking about, as far as, I know you said Max Jones, maybe, looking at probably some at-bats at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. So he's one that, we'll look at corner infield. He's mainly been a third baseman, but, with a guy who's going to throw every week for you, we're going to probably work him some at first base. He's a big kid, but, moves well, would be a great first baseman in my opinion. So he'll get some more opportunities there. Same thing with Kubi, not just on the mound, but there. Alex Fiesler, Jack Schlechte, those are two guys that mainly pitched for us last year. Got a few at-bats here, there, a few games. Alex plays third. Jack can play third or first, but I think Jack at first base has a really chance to win it. Cooper Hogue, very good power hitter, very good first baseman. So they're going to fight for it over there at first. That's 3 guys I've mentioned for one spot.
Yeah.
Good problem to have.
Somebody's going to have a good day.
Somebody's going to need to go win the game, And fortunately, they all pitch. So there's a good opportunity that, hey, we may have, 2 first basemen, 3 first basemen. Hey, he's pitching today. Hey, he just pitched yesterday. Doesn't feel like he can play the field, so we can mix those guys in there. So you got to keep that in mind. But yeah, those are Aiden Schumacher's another outfielder, a senior, played some outfield for us last year, got some at-bats on the varsity level. Would love to see him just take off and play it. The Benson kid we talked about is short. But yeah, some of those younger guys, the sophomores we talked about, we're really going to take a good look. We always practice 10 through 12 together to start, and then we'll kind of sprinkle in the freshmen with the sophomores just to kind of, compare them to sophomores, they're right there with the varsity as well. So we'll see what those sophomores really look like early, and I think everybody's going to know, hey, we got some spots and there's people ready to take it. And just hopefully multiple guys are like last year, multiple guys want to take it. Mm-hmm. And then we have a really good, problem on our hands, some people around, make some adjustments. And fortunately, a lot of them play multiple positions. So we can, mix and match for, the best option for everybody.
You were mentioning some freshmen that you got, just some names that who you looking at there, Coach?
We got a couple. I mean, there's a whole list of them. We saw a lot of them this last summer, getting out to watch them play. But a couple of bodies. There's infielder, pitcher, Porter Satley. He's a similar kid to Jones last year. The velo obviously plays. He's a mid-80s type of guy already as a freshman. Wow. Good stuff. Great body. So he'll probably get some, looks. He'll see what he's got, see if he fits a need. A lefty, Corey Hilsinger, same type of thing. Pitcher, infielder, can play first base. See what he can do on the mound, because I think we're going to need some depth on the mound.
Yeah.
Are we going to get
always
it out
good
of
to have a
sophomores?
lefty,
Are we
right?
going to get it out? Where are those next guys going to come from those, that fifth game of the week starter reliever,
Right.
Mason Altman, Gavin Kundert, two other ones, just good looking athletes. Know they're good athletes. They've showed well so far in workouts and different things we've done. That's just, 4 of what could probably be, 7 or 8 that we could really look at, and we'll probably look at, mixing them in and tryouts and that kind of stuff, or as the first few weeks go. But, when they come in with a body, obviously that shows a little bit. That's not everything. We've had some pretty small individuals been big parts of our team throughout the years, but that shows. And you watch guys in the cage, and boy, that ball just comes off different. It's a different sound, it's a different look.
Yeah.
And so those are, some guys will probably take a look at and just kind of see, do we need to take a longer look at you? You good where you're at? Just kind of slot them in there early and give them their opportunity.
Future looks good, because you've got some 27, 28 depth, class depth. That's impressive.
It's nice to have. Yeah, it's nice to know that, you're playing this year, but you got a lot of opportunities coming up, a lot of talent, a lot of kids that can really, step in there and be game changers.
Wow. Thanks for taking the time, Coach.
Hey, glad to be out here. This is, like I said, I've seen a lot of Twitter feeds, a lot of, watching on the X, watching stuff. So it's good to be out here live in studio and talk some Seckman baseball.
Absolutely. We enjoy it. And because this is getting us, we've been doing this for a few years around this area. We're just trying to get more accustomed to and covering more baseball.
Yeah.
And
you guys do a great job at it. Like I said, the games of the week, seeing those, and these, just the different talks with the instructors and different things, the hitting, the stuff, and just talking through and talking to, Graves and pitching and all that stuff you do. It's just the more info that can be out there that kids can see, coaches can see, it's just better for baseball.
We're going to try and get Shane Eames on, because I know he works with some of your kids.
Yeah,
I know he works with Bradford too.
Yeah, he's down there in the area. I coached his, son went through Seckman, coached.
Yeah.
There. So yeah, Shane's in the area. He's been around the area for a long time. He's worked with a lot of great hitters.
Oh man, yes he has. He does a good job.
Yep.
And evidently,
products there, right?
Folks, thanks for tuning in. Hey, look, get out there. All you kids, Seckman, get out, support this. This is going to be a really good baseball team this year. We're looking forward to seeing it when we get out there in May and before. So we appreciate it. If you like what we're doing, please take a moment, hit the like button. That helps the algorithm. We appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the dinger next to it. It's not a home run, but it does get you notifications for upcoming episodes just like this. So we appreciate that. Everybody, have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, keep throwing strikes. Hitters, Coach, give the hitters some advice.
It's your pitch. It's your pitch. Don't go up there just swinging. Know what pitch you're looking for. If you don't get it, take it, and then wait for the next one.
That's why I like to ask coaches for their advice. It's good advice. We'll see y'all next time.
Hey.